All right, so we're continuing on. Thank you for coming back and sharing this time with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I see you. I feel you. So we've done the empath, the transmuter, the psychic, the channeler, and now we're kind of looking at things like bilocation. So I experienced bilocation when I was not planning it or expecting it, and it was kind of frightening because bilocation is like it sounds. It's being in two places at once. And when you're not aware that that is actually a possibility, experiencing it can be quite jarring. So what's interesting is I looked this up online and it says that bilocation was attributed to saints. So that's interesting. But I think the best way that I can explain it is there's kind of two kinds of bilocating that I am familiar with, which one of them was the unexpected version where I was just meditating and a tiny pixel came from the upper right corner and basically came closer and closer to me till it wrapped around me and I was standing somewhere else. And when I realized that the person that was in the other location, I know I'm still laying on my bed, in part of my mind, the person that looks at me in their location, it scared the heck out of me, to be honest, because I thought, oh my God, can she see me? And at that moment of having that fear, I immediately just, as I say, dropped out of it. I didn't really drop anywhere. I just opened my eyes. I just was no longer in the other location. Well, more recently, after doing an EE system experience, I've done 3 of them now with biofield tuning, which is tuning your biofield that's around your body that we can't really see. That's kind of what some people see as auras. And now the science of plasma is also saying, hey, auras might also be seeing some of the plasma borders that are around you, but I don't want to get too deep here. Back on track, Leigh. So basically, the second way that I've experienced that you can do it is by almost being somewhere else. So I actually had an experience where I was in my bedroom again, a different bedroom. I've moved. And I finally realized that I could actually see my grandfather who died when I was 11. I felt like I could never really reconnect with him other than through a dream I had once. Because it was so emotionally draining for me to do it. I felt like maybe that's why he didn't want to try to visit me, because I would get just so overwhelmed with emotion because I was so excited. Love was the emotion, but it was also a little bit, there's a lot of crying, I guess is the best way to say it. And so anyway, once I realized that I can actually just do this recall of people, times, places, I was able to recall both my mother, who's passed away in 2022, and my grandfather, who passed away in, I don't even know what year it would have been, in the 80s. I was able to actually have a visit with them. So literally, it was like my mother came over and sat next to me on the bed. My grandfather sat on the other side. I could see them. It was almost like a translucent version of the reality that they were in, overlapping in this scenario in the reality that I was in my bedroom. And we hugged and it was great. And we caught up and, both my grandmother and my grandfather, well, all my grandparents, but my grandfather and my mother, sorry, I can't seem to get that out. Were able to cheerlead me on like they always did in life and kind of hey, oh my God, we're so happy to see you. It was this great reunion. And I just had this moment of just being with them and enjoying them and hugging them and conversing with them. And it lasted probably, 10, 15 minutes. And then that was great. And I enjoyed it and I was done. So that was another type of bilocation that I've finally awoken to that I am capable of. And it was through the process of doing this EE system mixed with biofield tuning that made me realize that being a really strong visual person allows me to do these recalls. And through these recalls, I'm able to reframe my perspective and also just to reach out and connect with my deceased non-physical family. And that's fucking cool. It is.